There is a moment quiet, unsettling, impossible to ignore. When you suddenly realize that something about your life feels strangely distant, as if you've been moving through your days on autopilot, checking the boxes, fulfilling expectations, smiling at the right moments, yet somehow never fully arriving inside your own experience. And if this feeling has found you, if this video has reached you at exactly this time, it may not be coincidence at all. Because the most frightening realization isn't that life is difficult, or unfair, or uncertain. It's the realization that you may have been living at half awake, guided more by habit than by intention, more by fear than by truth, more by who you were told to be than who you actually are. Think about this for a moment. How many of your decisions were truly conscious choices, and how many were reactions, inherited beliefs, silent agreements you never remember signing? Carl Jung once said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. And in that single sentence lies the quiet explanation for why so many people feel stuck without knowing why, exhausted without understanding what they're running from, successful on the outside yet strangely empty within. Because sleep, in the psychological sense, does not look like darkness or chaos. It looks like normal life. It looks like routines that numb instead of nourish, goals that impress others but leave you hollow, beliefs that sound reasonable yet quietly suffocate your potential. And the most dangerous part? You don't know you're asleep until the moment you begin to wake up. But here's what no one tells you. Awakening does not arrive as a dramatic explosion of insight. It arrives as discomfort, as restlessness, as the subtle sense that the life you reliving no longer fits the person you re-becoming. Alan Watts often spoke about the illusion of the separate self, the idea that we mistake our roles, our names, our achievements, and our social masks for who we truly are. And in doing so, we forget that life is not something happening to us, but something happening through us, moment by moment, breath by breath. And when you forget that, life becomes something to endure instead of something to inhabit. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you felt truly present? Not distracted, not performing, not escaping into noise or obligation, but fully alive in your own awareness. For many people, that moment is uncomfortably distant. Friedrich Nietzsche warned that the greatest danger is not suffering but comfort without meaning, because comfort lulls the soul into sleep, convincing you that safety is the same as fulfillment, that stability is the same as purpose, that avoiding pain is the same as living wisely. But deep down, something knows this is not true. Viktor Frankl, who survived the unimaginable horrors of concentration camps, observed that those who lost meaning lost the will to live, and those who found meaning, even in suffering, found a reason to endure. And his insight reveals something essential. Meaning is not given by circumstances. It is chosen through awareness. Sleep is not ignorance. Sleep is avoidance. It is the quiet agreement to stop asking difficult questions. It is choosing distraction over reflection, certainty over curiosity, familiarity over truth. And society rewards this kind of sleep, because sleeping people are predictable, compliant, easy to manage, easy to sell too, easy to direct. Napoleon Hill spoke of this in different terms, describing how most people live under the influence of hypnotic rhythm, a mental conditioning created by repetition, environment, and emotional habit, which slowly programs beliefs until they feel like reality itself. In other words, most people are not thinking their thoughts. They are inheriting them. Think about this carefully. Carl Jung believed that the psyche constantly tries to guide us toward wholeness through symbols, and that ignoring these signals does not silence them. It only forces them to speak through anxiety, depression, burnout, and inner conflict. So, if you feel restless, lost, unfulfilled, or disconnected, it may not be because something is wrong with you. It may be because something true within you is trying to wake you up. Awakening is not comfortable. It destabilizes illusions. It dissolves old identities. It forces you to confront the gap between the life you are living and the life that wants to live through you. And this is where many people turn back, because staying asleep is easier than facing the unknown. But here is the quiet truth. You don't wake up all at once. You wake up in layers. First, you realize you've been reacting instead of choosing. Then, you notice how often fear has guided your decisions. Then, you see how many of your limitations were never real, only repeated. And slowly, something changes. You stop asking, "What should I do with my life?" And you begin asking, "Who am I becoming with each choice I make?" This is the shift Viktor Frankl described when he said that between stimulus and response there is a space. And in that space lies our power to choose our response, and in our response lies our growth and our freedom. Awareness creates that space. Without awareness, there is no freedom, only habit. And freedom does not mean control. It means presence. It means responsibility. It means living from the inside out instead of the outside in. So if this message feels uncomfortable, if it stirs something you can't quite name, that is not a sign to turn away. It is a sign that you are waking up. Because the moment you realize you've been asleep your entire life is not the end of something. It is the beginning. The beginning of conscious choice. The beginning of living deliberately instead of accidentally. The beginning of becoming someone who no longer abandons themselves for approval, comfort, or fear. And the most beautiful part, you don't need to become someone new. You need to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. If this message spoke to you, subscribe to Becoming You, and keep growing with us. And if you stayed until the end, comment the word awakening below, and tell us what this moment stirred within you, because awareness shared is awareness multiplied.